welcome back to the Dugout podcast. This is episode 30. I'm your host, Alexander Cruikshanks, and I'm joined today just by Ethan Barlow after what was, we'll say, a surprising day of SPFL action. Ethan, first of all, how you doing? And then we'll jump into the football stuff.
Yeah, doing okay. As you said, surprising would be the right phrase I would use. I think many seen that coming, especially in the marquee matchup, episode 30,
Yeah, it's a bit.
3-0.
I didn't
Um,
see it coming.
maybe, maybe all things fall into place. But yeah, we'll get on to that. But yeah, I'm doing well. How's yourself?
Yeah, I'm good, mate. I I'm very pleased, obviously, with. I'll come out before we get into it because I'm going to do a lot of praising. Obviously, I know the situation's still not good for Rangers. 11 points is terrible. 11-point gap, and Celtic probably will win the league. But today, I just want to sort of focus on what happened in the game. Before I'm acknowledging, and I'm sure Ethan would agree, the league is still very much Celtic's to lose.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I think you might have even said the other day that it was done regardless of the result, which could be, but you never know. Celtic might implode. If anything before the game today was anything to go off, you wouldn't have seen this coming.
No,
So you never know what can happen in football. It's a strange game. But yeah, 11 points is obviously a lot to claw back.
yeah. What I will say is for Rangers, I think it's just giving a little bit of like hope, like maybe for something like the Scottish Cup, or or even to come back a little bit and try and put a little bit of pressure. But I'll address the elephant in the room. If Rangers had obviously not dropped those 5 points, the gap would only been six, and it would be very much, a title race again, I think. However, that's not the case. It's 11 points. Celtic are clear favourites still. But today, Rangers were triumphant pretty conclusively. We'll run through sort of the going of the game, and then we'll go more into like the tactical stuff. So Celtic had an early sort of chance from they started fairly fast as they normally do. Corner taken, and then it came back out. Kyogo, I don't know if he knows where the ball is, but he probably should have done better. That was an early maybe scare for Rangers, but from then on, anything, Celtic didn't threaten at all.
Yeah, as you said, Celtic came out the traps quick in the first maybe 2 or 3 minutes, and it looked like it was going to be maybe a long day for Rangers, but it was anything but that. After that, Rangers got into the game. They grew into the game very quickly. They started forcing Celtic into errors. Obviously, one of them leading to the Yanis Hadji opening goal.
Yeah, so there was just before that, there was a forced error. McGregor loses possession. Rangers midfield were really aggressive today, and there's a flurry of chances. It ends up, rebounding out several blocks in there. But I think that's when you kind of went, okay, Rangers are here to play. They won't sit back and take it. And then Rangers pressing again. Scales with a really poor pass. Liam Scales was shocking today. I think one of the worst players on the park. And there's a few contenders, but I think he stood out to me. Great pressing from Nico Raskin, who's one of the best players on the park, and Yanis Hadji with the opener. Ethan, I know you didn't get to watch the game sort of in full, but when you're on your break at work, what was kind of your reaction to seeing these early sort of signs of Rangers' game plan?
Yeah, well, I got to witness 75 minutes of the game. Wish it was less, honestly, watching. But yeah, I thought Rangers were just and like the cup final, they were just getting after Celtic, making it difficult for Celtic, and Celtic just didn't have the answer yet again in the first half, and maybe when it goes in at 1-0 at half time, you think it's maybe going to follow the same pattern as the final, and Celtic will grow back into the game, but it never happened. But just off the first half, I thought Rangers were really kind of getting in Celtic's face and making it difficult for Celtic. And that's what they done for the whole of the half. Celtic barely laid a glove on Rangers the whole match.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's not really much to be said. And a good goal by Hadji. He does well to use kind of Carter Vickers to blind Schmeichel. It goes through his legs, which is always a difficult one for the keeper. But yeah, I think that's Hadji's first goal of the season as well, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. What a time to get it. Rangers were just really aggressive, continue through the first half. And when I say aggressive, I mean aggressive in terms of pressing, because I think Celtic finished with like 62% possession. They didn't do anything with it. Rangers' press was actually like really well set up. They waited and they waited for the chances to like squeeze. Because I think this is a point actually on sports scene in the past that the 10 would be up there with the striker and the centre backs would just give it to McGregor and McGregor would be in acres of space. They actually would let whoever it was, most of the time it was Carter Vickers, have the ball, take his time. And when he played it, they'd be shutting off the passing lanes to the likes of McGregor. They'd be on Hatate. They'd be on the guys in the wings who were trying to get it. And it was, I think it was much like the cup final, except Celtic didn't show a lot in an attacking sense, and Rangers were way more solid defensively. Czerny hit the bar after a deflected effort. Scales played a long ball through to Kyogo that ended up being too long. And then there wasn't really much else in that half in terms of chances for either side, except from a really good effort from Real Hatate that was saved kind of oddly. Kind of a weird save by Liam Kelly, one for the cameras, I think. But and then they go into the half at 1-0, Ethan. And you mentioned earlier, but after that kind of first half, you must have been thinking, what's happened to the Celtic of this season?
Yeah, definitely. I think you're thinking it can't be any worse in the second half in the second half than it was in the first. But I think both half performances rivaled each other for which one was worse. Yeah, it was just I don't know. It was really surprising as the emotion that I got from the game. Yeah, I didn't see it coming.
Caught off
There
guard, yeah.
no, yeah, no signs to this from Rangers form, from Celtic's form, and I think we might have said in the past that form doesn't matter going into these games. I think we might have argued that it does, but maybe this proves again that
Yeah.
these kind of things can happen.
I think Rangers have shown in the past in these kind of games that they can do things that wouldn't normal. I think it was another point that I heard on Sports Scene. These kind of games, like your European nights, your old firms, for some reason they like up until recently, obviously, but you know what I'm trying to say. The high pressure games, it seems to be the ones where Rangers thrive the most. Weirdly enough, and they did it again. Okay, into the second half. Um, a lot of the same again. Really, really poor efforts from Celtic to get the ball out. They just look sluggish, which is something you haven't seen from Celtic this season. Kyogo with a beautiful goal. It was just offside in the end, but Ethan, during that point, did you think, even though it got disallowed, did you think Celtic could maybe latch onto it? They kind of showed, okay, maybe we can break through. Kyogo made that run in between the centre halves a couple of times. You only need to get it right once. So maybe you're thinking, okay, build on this, because Celtic did start the first 5 minutes of the second half with the ball. They looked a little bit more positive. They were moving it quickly. Did you think, okay, that there's something maybe to build on here?
No, definitely. I think, as you said, Celtic started the second half pretty well. They were breaking the press a lot more often. They were kind of interlinking in the midfield and freeing up space. And then obviously Kyogo gets that chance off Paulo Bernardo's ball. It's a brilliant touch and finish, but obviously as just went a bit early. Kyogo was probably one of the players that you couldn't have much complaints for. I think
No, he
he
didn't
made
have any
the
service, did he? He was he
yeah,
was he was up there himself trying to
yeah,
do anything because the rest of Celtic's attacking outlets were completely nullified.
yeah.
Finally found the answer for Dyson Maida. Play Ridvan Yilmaz at right back. Who
Maybe.
who would have thought?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know, but I think both Nicholas Kuhn and Daisen Maeda just had off days. Really, really poor. I mean, Celtic's two midfielders as well. I didn't. Cal McGregor didn't have a great game, obviously, but I don't think Real Hatate and Paulo Bernardo necessarily helped. But
No.
yeah, as you mentioned about the Rangers pressing, all credit goes to that. We've seen it in the cup final. Clement seems to have sussed out how to play against this Brendan Rodgers team to some degree, and that's on Rodgers now to change it up for the next one. But yeah, as you mentioned, with the centre backs, Carter Vickers and Scales, when they have the ball, they can only go to the full backs. They can only go to the other two central midfielders who were very high advanced in the game, or they go to the wingers. And it's the
Yeah.
chances of playing that pass are a lot less than if you played to McGregor, who was obviously man marked very well and kept out the game.
I thought there was clear instructions on a couple of Celtic players. Obviously, McGregor, you can't let him play because if he's allowed the space, he'll hurt you. And one in particular, I think, Nicholas Kuhn. I think there was clear instructions because if you saw a lot of the time, Yanis Hadji would be back there to double up on him, or Raskin would be filling in, or whoever was over on that side. There would always be two men watching Nicholas Kuhn when he got the ball, and it worked because he's so dangerous and he's showing it this season. He's got like 25 goal involvements or something, which is
Yeah,
absolutely ridiculous. I think he's the best. I think we maybe questioned earlier in the season, is he as good as Jota? I think he's better than Jota was. But this guy is incredible, and he's after a successful youth career, and he's finally seemed to have found his feet after a difficult 6 months at Celtic. He's been electric this season, but today he was a shadow of what we've seen of him. I think a lot of that was probably, I think a lot of the game today was down to obviously poor from Celtic, but Rangers did play it really well. I think it was a mixture of both. It wasn't the greatest quality game. I don't think. Obviously, 3 goals is always good to watch if you're a neutral. But the quality of football overall, I don't think was great. Rangers breaking a lot. Celtic just not doing a lot with their possession. And then Rangers pressed again. Czerny hits the post, and he was really unlucky with that. He did everything right, in my opinion. And if you see the way it bounces, it's so weird, isn't it? How it bounced off the inside. Nine times out of 10, that goes in, doesn't it?
yeah, I think so. Celtic get caught, Hatate on the ball by Diamande. I think it was a good tackle. It was maybe on the borderline of being a foul, but I think he does get the ball, and it's a brilliant ball through to Czerny, who does well, does almost everything right, but just falls on the wrong side of the post by a fraction, and then Celtic clear out. And is it from that corner?
No, it's.
The-
I think Czerny has another shot. Schmeichel saves it. He's near post, and then it's a corner. And I've
yeah,
got in capital letters here: Rangers score from a corner. Honestly, I think it's over like 200 corners or something.
yeah. But
It's-
to be fair, I think that's been one of Celtic's problems in recent years, which they've got a bit better this season. But I don't think Celtic have even got enough corners to sort of
no,
even threaten the idea of
the
scoring a corner today.
set pieces have been an issue for Rangers for a long, long time. You just don't have any hope unless it's close enough for Tavernier to hit it. you, you just don't have any hope at all. But it's a really good delivery, and the smallest man on the pitch gets his head on it. Really poor marking, and then it comes to the Dutch Ben Davies, who maybe for a few fans is back in the good books after what was a decent performance overall from him as well. And it's a good sliding finish at the back post for 2-0. And Robin Proper must have been an absolute dreamland after the last couple of games.
Yeah, yeah. I think this goal probably just summarises the sort of day for Celtic. Dyson Maeda losing his man, not working hard enough. Dyson Maeda. When could you say that today? And it's brilliant from Raskin. He makes the run across the sort of what's in the middle of this 6-yard box, really. And he's unlucky not to score. Schmeichel obviously makes the save, and then it falls for Proper, who's the sharpest. He gets his first goal for Rangers.
Yeah,
Yeah, what a time to get it, I suppose.
I know. There was not much. Well, there was a claim for handball, never a penalty. Ida's arm was up at his chest, and then Jeffy robs Danilo, goes down the left hand side like a frigging Lamborghini, um, gets it across. Cutter Vickers sliding block, and it falls into the path of Danilo, who finishes it quite well. I haven't seen it like all too well from like a behind angle. Maybe you could call into question Casper Schmeichel a little bit.
Possibly.
Oh,
Score that. But yeah, I don't think Schmeichel had his best game on the ball, especially. He kicked it out a few times. I remember one especially. He was trying to pass to Liam Scales. Yeah. But yeah, the whole Celtic backline were obviously under pressure.
yeah,
I think there was one time where I remember. You might remember it was in the first half. In the first half an hour, where Celtic Rangers put them under great pressure, and Celtic worked about the back absolutely perfectly. It got to Real Hatate, and then he tried to play it to Maeda, and he just gave the ball away, and that was kind of a
yeah,
lot of what was happening. If it wasn't getting caught by a Liam Scales pass or who else, Alistair Johnson didn't really break the press well. I thought Greg Taylor and Carter Vickers were decent at it on the day, but yeah, too many empty jerseys for Celtic today.
I can't remember who it was, but I think at one point Alistair Johnston got twisted so bad that he actually slipped. Um, and you've not seen that a lot. And yeah, Danilo scores. He's been really good off the bench actually recently for Rangers. Obviously against St Mirren, ended up not being enough. He scored in the final off the bench, and he scored again. And it's a really, it's a nice finish from him. But yeah, that's kind of like what the way the game shook out. I just want to maybe, obviously we're not professionals, but I want to maybe dive into and speculate about the psychology of the Celtic team. Ethan, do you think there was an element of complacency of thinking, oh well, we battered this mob earlier. We drew three each of them, but we beat them on penalties. That was a blip. We're going to walk out. They've not been good last few games. We're going to walk into this game and stroll it.
Yeah, I think possibly. I mean, I couldn't even point to an answer for the Celtic performance. Credit goes to Rangers because they put Celtic under vast pressure throughout the match, but Celtic were really, really bad. I mean, I think we've spoke about it before. 0.07 expected goals.
Yeah.
That's crazy. That's
It's
like if I compared it to some other games this season, Rangers have only conceded less XG than that in one game this season, and it was when they beat Kilmarnock 6-0, and that was 0.06. Celtic's 4-0 win over St Johnstone, when St Johnstone had one shot, was 0.06 XG. So that's the kind of XG we're talking about here. Celtic didn't even come close to scoring.
yeah.
I couldn't really point to it, but what were you saying?
I'm saying it's so strange, especially from the
Yeah,
Celtic side this season.
yeah,
And
Yeah,
this is also a testament to how great they've been. But before this game, they'd only conceded 4 in the league, and have conceded 3 in one game. It's so out of character for this side this season.
yeah, definitely. I think complacency would be the kind of an overconfidence or arrogance almost. 14 points ahead, Rangers playing some players that ideally wouldn't be playing. You maybe it's natural for players to think, "Oh, well, we'll probably have an easy day here," but it was anything but that, and that's where you've got to give credit to Rangers because they hassled Celtic, they wanted it more than Celtic, and that's why they won the game. Celtic weren't in it; they didn't have the attitude to win the game. I don't know if there's anything else behind it. I think Arne Engels was meant to start the game, but had a bug or an illness. He obviously didn't have a great
No,
day in general. Um,
came on.
yeah,
Obviously, we'll address that as well, though. Uh,
yeah,
Shocking
um, yeah,
missiles from the crowd. And it just can't be in the game. It ruins it for everyone. The players need to be safe. You know, they're there to do their job. At the end of the day, they shouldn't have to fear from people in the crowd throwing stuff at them. What happens the next time it's something heavier than a coin, you know, and a player could really get hurt, or he gets hit directly in the eye, or you never know. Especially with stuff getting thrown from all directions and all angles. If it's higher up, could pick up speed. So it is, and this feels kind of strange saying, but we at the dugout condemn any kind of action like that.
yeah. Um, but yeah, I think it was quite a bad one. I think he took it just above the eye, so he was lucky it wasn't in the eye. But I think you've got to at the time give credit to Nico Raskin. I'd say I don't know if you've seen it, but he kind of went over and made sure Engels was all right. Told the crowd to wisen up. Obviously, I think they've played together with Belgium under whatever and Club Brugge, and maybe the Belgium full national team with the way Raskin's going. But yeah,
I hadn't thought
yeah,
about
just
that,
a
but
just a just a disappointing event really to
yeah,
end it for Rangers on a high
yeah.
result.
There is one Celtic player I want to give credit to who I actually felt kind of sorry for, and that was Cameron Carter Vickers. I thought, as usual, he was a defensive unit. There was one in the first half where Dio Mande was played in by Rami, and then this massive man just slides in, perhaps takes him and the ball, and people around me were just going, "What a tackle!" You know, he's a great defender. I think. Should I say what you said, Ethan?
Yeah, yeah, I think you should.
He's the Virgil van Dijk of Scottish football.
Yeah,
I think that's a fair comparison. He is
yeah,
a tank. He's difficult to get by. He's strong in the air. He's great at blocking, great slide challenging. He's decent on the ball. And today, I think from if I was a Celtic fan, I think he'd be the only one for me that got somewhat pass marks.
yeah. I agree. I think he was head and shoulders above his teammates today. I think on the ball he was pretty good as well. There was a few times where Rangers were sort of covering all the passing lanes, and he would just kind of step on the ball or move forward. He was very composed, I thought. And I think there's obviously been the rumours with Bayer Leverkusen. I think he could easily go to a team of that level, and not good for Celtic, obviously, because
A
God
big
knows what the
fee
score
though.
would have
A big
been
fee.
without
It'll
him.
be
Yeah, it's got to be a big fee, I think.
15,
Contract till
20.
2020. So, yeah.
15 to
Um,
20, or would you want more than that?
what is it?
15 to 20, or would you want more than that in a January window?
I don't know. I don't know if 15 to 20 I would sell Carter Vickers for that amount. But obviously he isn't as young as maybe a Matt O'Reilly or whatever. So you've got to take that into
Also,
account. But
centre backs don't have as
yeah, they're not as fancy.
yeah, they
Yeah,
don't like it's just the way it is. They don't have the
yeah,
same value put on them as attacking players. But yeah, he was definitely the one today. But I think that's we've spent a long time talking about this. Obviously, it's the big game of the day. But I think that is everything on that, unless you want to add anything or do you want to move on swiftly?
No, I've just got a few stats
All right, okay.
to sort of round off. So Clement's obviously first win against Rangers in his
First
seventh
one
match.
against Rangers.
Oh, sorry, first win against Celtic. Sorry, Rodgers' second loss against Rangers in 20 matches or 21, I think,
Oh,
something like that. Celtic's first domestic loss since March. Second loss of the
oh
season.
yeah,
Along with,
that as well. The
yep,
invincible over.
yep. That's the massive thing for Rangers today. I think that they have that check that Celtic can't achieve anything. They can achieve something historic, obviously, if they go on to win a treble. Although Rangers will probably make that pretty difficult in the Scottish Cup if they're to meet. Rangers' first derby win since May 2023, which was, funnily enough, a 3-0 home win against Celtic, in which I think might have actually been the last derby that Yanis Hadji played in. So yeah, I don't know if he played after that, but I think he was out on loan in those seasons.
Hmm.
And yeah, I think that's another fun stat that they mentioned on Sky. Yilmaz had more shots than Celtic. The right back. Yeah, that sums it all up. Oh yeah, the other one was this is another one on Sky. If you watch the game on Sky Sports, it's the most shots Celtic have conceded in the modern SPFL era in a game. I think Kilmarnock. I spoke about Kilmarnock equalled it early in the season at 18, but Rangers blew it away today with 24 shots. Or they had 24 shots at the time. I think they went on to have more than that anyway. So yeah, I think that's everything from the
Yeah,
main.
I just that thing about Yilmaz. He really wanted a goal because he just started taking pot shots, didn't he? A couple of them were decent efforts, but
Yeah.
yeah, great win for Rangers. Oh, sorry, what you saying, Ethan?
I was just going to say maybe just wanted to make amends from the obviously the
Yeah,
final. Yeah. But
yeah,
I think this this win kind of was deserved for Rangers after losing that final by such fine margins.
yeah.
Yeah,
They made sure this time.
yeah, definitely.
And yeah, great win for Rangers. Really poor from Celtic, so uncharacteristic, but obviously Celtic still in the driving seat for the SPFL title. But I think this today, maybe, I don't know, maybe I'm reading too much, maybe I'm just clutching at straws, but maybe it showed that they aren't invincible and it might present, maybe boost confidence of some other sides and boost the Rangers players' confidence to go on and maybe do something, but it's highly unlikely. And maybe that's me just, trying to be optimistic. But yeah, great win for Rangers. Okay, so now we're going to move on to Aberdeen versus Ross County. Um, very snowy first half up in Pittodrie. It, it was kind of mental, but another mental thing was Akil Wright giving Ross County the lead with Ethan. This is goal of the season.
Yeah, I think so. It's going to be hard to beat. Goal of the calendar year, Puskas Award, early nomination, two days in.
Yeah.
I think he'll be going head to head with Josh Windass's goal yesterday. If
Oh
anyone's
my
seen
god,
that,
what a goal that
um,
was!
yeah,
Just on
but
that
yeah,
goal, like a lot of goals for like behind your own half are like looping dips, but like the power on that, it like flew into the top corner. It was mental.
yeah, that'll be up there definitely. I don't know if Akil Wrights will be because Scottish Premiership doesn't get that kind of credit. I don't think.
No,
But yeah, what a goal! I mean, he must be 30 yards out, and he just it bounces up and he just volleys it into the top corner.
yeah,
It's yeah, what a goal!
incredible. So Ross County take the lead early. Ross Doohan made some saves, and then Nisbet scored a dodgy goal. A bit of a disaster from the keeper. Maybe you could credit some of that to the conditions, but he should have been saving that.
Yeah, definitely. Jordan Amissa. I think it's his third game for Ross County. Obviously, he's come in for Ross Laidlaw after that injury that Laidlaw suffered at Celtic Park. But yeah, he didn't cover himself in glory. But from watching the highlights, I think he made up for it in the end.
Definitely did. And then Aberdeen came out in the second half, quite strong, created a lot of chances. They were undone with another really good goal, although I might not give it as much credit because I don't think he meant it. But it was a nice goal from Chilvers, who is also one who's slowly redeeming himself, Ethan.
Yeah, goal and assist in the first away win in Donkeys for Ross County at Dundee. Goal and assist in the second away win on the bounce at Aberdeen. I think as the saying goes, they've come like London buses, is it?
Mm-hmm.
In terms of Ross County away wins. But yeah, I don't know if he meant that, but it looked a very good goal. But I'm not saying he meant that. No.
No, I don't think he did mean it, but that was enough. A lot of late chances for Aberdeen. Nisbet with one at the end that really should have been a goal. But now, kind of the game, I think, was Ross County did really well to sort of hang on and took their chances. Aberdeen didn't take their chances. And as a result, they are now 9 games without a win. They fall to 4th, which is ridiculous. After, obviously, we'll speak about later, but Dundee United did get a massive win. And Ethan, what do you think Jimmy Tilleen's? What do you think he's thinking? He must be scratching his head. Going, what do I need to do here?
Yeah, I don't really know. As you said, 9 without a win, 1 win in 11 games. It's really concerning for Aberdeen, and they're going to need to get that together because I think we all said, the three of us on the last episode, that we still backed them to get third. But if they don't get that together soon, Dundee United will start soaring away from them, and the rest of the pack will catch up. Yeah, it's really concerning, but they did play better in this game, I think. On another day, possibly they come away with 3 points,
Two,
but
3 goals.
yeah, 2 really good goals from Ross County. And yeah, I think Ross County are up to in the away league table. They're only 2 points behind Rangers, which is quite crazy considering Ross County hadn't won an away game in over a year and a half, a couple of
Yeah,
weeks ago, or less than that even.
right. Rangers away
But
record.
yeah, Aberdeen. Yeah.
What did you say?
I was just saying Aberdeen really poor.
All right, yeah. But Rangers away record is shocking. But yeah, massive win for Ross County. Um, I'll just say as well, I think our analysis for the rest of the games will be a bit briefer. Sorry to other supporters, but I think the big talking point today was obviously the Old Firm game. But there is a lot to go through in these games, and we did spend a lot of time on the Old Firm. So we'll try and get through as much detail as we can. But we are recording late on a Thursday night, so right. So yeah, nine. That's kind of that from that game. I think, but that was really brief. But on to the next. Kilmarnock versus St Mirren. Early in the game, great pressing from Bruce Anderson, wins it. And Alex Gogic sees red and just takes him out. For me, this is a stonewall penalty, no arguments.
Yeah, I agreed. As you said, brilliant work from Bruce Anderson. I think me and you, as well as Laurie, have been crying out for him to get a runner starts in the team, and he's repaying McInnes. Brilliant work. He obviously wins the penalty with his desire, and then
Well, before we started, Ethan, I think you mentioned he started only 7 games. He's got 8 goals.
yeah, it's ridiculous. Joint second top scorer in the league. Yeah, obviously a few of them have come from penalties, but he obviously missed this one, which Ellery Balcom saved. I think Balcom's got a really good record from
Yeah,
penalty
he
saves this
saved a
season.
couple of penalties, Ellery
Yeah,
Balcom.
it was 3-6 after this one. Obviously fell to 3-7 as we'll get on to.
Yeah, and Bruce Anderson, put in the rebound. Um, Quickly, I just want to say our thoughts are with Kyle Vassell. It looked like he suffered a really, really bad injury. I think he had oxygen or something on the side of, or some sort of painkiller, gas tank or something. Um, and that it really didn't look great for him. A shin injury, I think it was. So our thoughts are with Kyle Vassell, and we hope he makes a speedy recovery. Yeah, and then Kelly get another penalty. One man that I do want to highlight, who I thought from the highlights looked really good, was McGuinness. Really good driving, really good tidy. He looked really tidy on the ball, and obviously he wins the penalty. Gogic with another really similar challenge, and he just takes him out again. And Ethan, you've got to wonder what's Alex Gogic thinking doing it for the second time.
I don't know. I really don't know. I think St Mirren are like the Kilmarnock of red cards, but with penalties, I can't even count how many times we've talked about St Mirren giving away silly penalties this season. Um, but yeah, Alex Gogic, I really don't know what he's doing there. He body checks McGuinness, who, as you said, looked pretty good. I think Laurie was quite delighted that he was back from his long term injury a few weeks or months ago. That was now. But yeah, and then Anderson steps up. Bravov won't step up after missing the first one. This time he converts to move on to 8 for the season, which is an impressive tally considering the amount of starts he had, as you mentioned.
Yeah. Kilmarnock went on and nearly made it 3 a couple of times, and they did look dominant in the game. Nice attacking play. St Mirren looked really sloppy. And it's been St Mirren are one of the teams. You know, there's a couple of them this season, Motherwell and as well. Sometimes they look excellent, and sometimes they just look like they've never kicked a ball before.
Yeah, they're just. You thought they were getting some consistency. Sorry, they obviously won the 3 games in a row with the late winners. The third of that being the Rangers one, and then they obviously go and lose to Dundee, which at home you would maybe expect them to win that one, and then they go and lose to Kilmarnock, in which I think we said on the last episode was a real kind of 6-pointer. For those two teams battling it out for top 6.
Kelly have really clawed themselves into this now, haven't they?
Yeah, definitely. I think Kelly unbeaten in 5 of the last 6, and now they're just 3 points behind St Mirren and Motherwell, I believe.
Yeah, she's fine, thanks. So sorry guys, had to do it, but yeah, so yeah, great win for Kelly, and we'll move on to St Johnstone versus Hibs. This was very Hibs. I thought a lot of chances. Jason Holt got booked originally for his challenge, but rightly so. He got checked by VAR, and I think this is definitely a red card, and they came to the correct decision at the end of the day. Could have been really, really bad.
Yeah, it's a really nasty one on Chris Cadden. Yeah, it was Chris Cadden.
Yeah,
Yeah, and they came to the right decision, and that's what VAR's for. So, yeah, no complaints there. The
yeah.
perfect use of VAR.
However, though, they don't capitalise. Hibs didn't capitalise on that in the first half. They had a few chances, a couple of goal line blocks, but Rocky Bashiri, classic Rocky Bashiri brings down. Was it Sanders in
Yeah,
the
Jack Sanders,
Jack
yeah.
Sanders in the box? Uh, this is a penalty. It's a silly penalty, but it's a penalty for me. And then Nicky Clark dispatches it for, I think he's 6th in the league.
Yeah,
Uh,
you're right.
so he's Nicky Clark having a quietly good season. So Johnston, I think we mentioned previously, their problems aren't in the attacking areas. It's everywhere else, pretty much.
Yeah,
They've got
yeah, it's like,
they've got an abundance of really good. They're a top heavy side.
yeah, I think it's like, what could you say? It's like musical chairs between the striking options. But I think Nicky Clark is he's obviously the captain. He's the sort of ever present. But yeah, Mackenzie Kirk dropped out. I think he might have had an injury because I looked and he wasn't in the squad. So hopefully that's not too much of a serious one for St Johnstone or himself. And then Sidibe and Kimpioka come back in after being on the bench at Celtic Park. But yeah, Rocky Bashiri, just a wee bit of a calamitous moment to go with his one last week on Boxing Day where he finished into his own net at Tynecastle. That one didn't have major consequences. This one obviously did in terms of the result.
Yeah. Martin Boyle scored an equaliser that was disallowed for offside. Thought this one was maybe a bit ambiguous.
Yeah, I'd agree. I thought it was harsh. I think I don't really know if Junior Hoylett does he touch the ball? I don't think he
I don't
does.
think he
Does he?
touches it. The question
Yeah,
is he affecting the
I
play?
don't really know. I think
If he's
regardless if he touches it or
if he's
not,
not
it's
there, I
going to
think
go in.
Martin Boyle gets to it anyway. So
Yeah, yeah. Nicky Cadden robbed of another assist there.
yeah,
He's
he's been
another.
excellent this season.
Yeah, he's definitely making a run for team of the season.
Yeah.
But yeah,
But Hibs eventually do score their equaliser through former Premier League striker, English Premier League striker, I'll say, Dwight Gale, with a really nice finish and showing off why he was at the top level for so long. I just remember Dwight Gale and Connor Wickham. They were like remember all this stuff about like Barclays men and stuff like that. And I think maybe they're the level below, but you know what I'm trying to say.
yeah. I remember them both tearing up for Palace. But Dwight Gale has shown these quality in the last few games. Obviously got that winner at Tynecastle. Obviously announced that I think he said his body doesn't feel like it used to, and that's why he said he's probably going to retire at the end of the season. But he'll be hoping he makes the most of this season and helps Hibs to a successful one.
Yeah. And then towards the end, Hibs really should score. Harry McCurdy in there, you know, he's a strange player. I feel like he pops in and out every now and again. I think he was at Swindon last season on
Yeah,
loan.
it definitely was. Um, but yeah, I don't. I don't even know he still played for
No, me
Hibs.
neither. I was I was playing a career mode, and I was playing with a League Two side, and I'm like, I needed a pacey cheap winger, and I was like, I'll go for Harry McCurdy, see where he is, and he was at Hibs still, so fair
Yeah,
enough to him. And then I see him play, but yeah, Hibs really should score at the end, but they don't, and it's one each, and this, you know, it's not a great result for Hibs, and they've been on a good run recently, but this really felt like a regression. Going back to what has been the case for them so many times this season, wasted chances.
yeah, definitely a blip. Obviously, they were on that run of 4 wins on the bounce. They're playing over 45 minutes against a 10-man bottom of the league St Johnstone. You'd maybe expect them to go on and win the game. They obviously give away that silly penalty, and then they can't quite claw back the deficit. But I'm sure Hibs will still be making a push for top six. For St Johnstone, I think it's the first time they avoided defeat in their last 5, and they've got 1 win in their last 11, the same as Aberdeen. So they're struggling, and with another Edinburgh club who obviously picked up a win, they fall further behind at the bottom.
Yeah. Well, we'll move on to that. Hearts versus Motherwell. The opening goal came from Stephen O'Donnell and not being able to keep it in, which was, I don't know what he was doing there. I know it's kind of, I don't want to just go after him like that, but he really should have kept that in. And then Hearts score from the subsequent corner. Just one thing I want to bring up. What did the referee see that made him disallow it in real time?
I don't know. I really don't know.
Nothing. Like there was not like the replay was on James Wilson, right? James Wilson just jumps. I don't know what happened. The only thing that I maybe thought the referee could have saw, Musa Drama pushes off Oxborough a little bit, but he barely touches him. I'm thinking maybe he's seen it wrong and he thinks he's pushed him. But watching the actual replay, it was focused on James Wilson, and I'm like, what is he seen here in real time that's made him think that's a foul? Because it's a perfectly good goal.
Yeah, I think maybe more than any other country in the world, the Scottish referees have a sort of pressure and paranoia. Every decision's getting criticised. Maybe that's why they are as poor as they are. But yeah, I mean, at least the only thing you can say is at least they came to the right decision in the end.
Yeah, because they haven't so many times.
Yeah. So when they do get it right, that's better than nothing. But yeah, you're right to point out it was a very strange call.
Yeah, but from then on in, it was sheer Hearts dominance, but they just really couldn't, get that second. And off Liam Boyce, he's not scored in since like September 2023, and nothing was really falling for him, was it?
No, and I think Liam Boyce, no offence, obviously been a great player, not a great player, but a good player in his time at Ross County. I remember him tearing it up and having some good spells at Hearts as well. But I think the problem with Hearts is they relied too much on Shankland in the striker position. And Liam Boyce is not the player you kind of want to be relying on beyond Shankland. Obviously, I think he scored against, was it in the last game? Oh, yeah, it was against Ross County. He scored and then they had it ruled out. But yeah, it's not going well for Hearts still. I know they won the game, but they're still not firing on all cylinders. It's a drama. You think maybe after that goal at Celtic against Celtic at Tynecastle, he's going to kick on. Never really happened. That's his second goal. Hopefully, for Hearts' sake, he does now, or someone starts banging the goals in because, yeah. But for Motherwell, a really poor performance, and Motherwell are starting to dwindle into a wee bit of a purple patch, not a purple patch, sorry, the opposite of a purple patch.
Yeah,
No wins. Sorry, I was just going to say no wins in the last four, 2 wins from the last nine for Motherwell, and I don't think they even managed a shot in the first half. So yeah, it's a bit concerning for the Steelmen and Kettlewell.
yeah, definitely. It was. It looked like towards the end that maybe they would, you know, punish Hearts for not finishing their chances, and they never did. And I think Stuart Kettlewell said in an interview, I think it was on BBC Sports Scotland, Sports Sound, and he was just talking about how this season they demand a minimum level of effort from the players, and they have given that, but today didn't see those standards, and it is concerning. Obviously, they're missing their star man for I think it's 2 months, which is a terrible blow for young Lennon Miller, but they've got good players in that team, and they need to definitely show more effort than they did today because it was. If you were a Motherwell fan, you'd be raging. See if you. I think as football fans, if your team plays their heart out and they get beat, you don't mind it. But Ethan, if you were a Motherwell fan, the level of effort, especially, I know we only watched like extended highlights, so we can't grasp a real thing of the game. But it's so poor the effort level, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think you talked about Stephen O'Donnell not keeping the ball in. It's simple stuff like that is stuff you just expect from your players as a fan. That's a good thing about Kettlewell, Stuart Kettlewell. Sometimes his opinions are a bit wide of the mark in the press, but I think he always kind of he gives you something entertaining. And he kind of was honest about it that his players weren't good enough. And they'll need to pick it up if they want to keep top six because it is getting very competitive in that area. And Hearts obviously taking one step closer. They're still quite a bit away, but 5 points ahead of St Johnstone now, so they've got a bit of breathing room above the automatic drop zone.
Yeah, they do. Right, next game. Sorry, my notes disappeared off my phone.
It's the last one, the Dundee
Oh yeah,
Derby.
yeah. Here we go. the Dundee Derby. Massive win for Dundee United to take them into third place. And this, I think, in terms of end to end, fast paced action, was the game of the day.
Yeah, definitely a more a better contested derby than the one that went before it. I think Dundee unlucky to lose from that winning position, but I think Dundee United just a slightly better team on the day, and a massive win for Dundee United to go into third, and I think it's been deserved off the basis of the whole season so far.
Yeah, obviously Dundee took the lead through a penalty, and maybe I don't know about this um, for a penalty. It's similar. Remember that one against Hearts last season where it was given against Tomoki Iwata, and he knew nothing about it. This is really similar. I think obviously he's not being pushed, but he's jumping, he's facing away. You can't jump like that. You can't do that. I think this is that it's so unfair on Kevin Holt. I think it was. Um, I don't know if you have a different opinion, but for me, this shouldn't have been a penalty.
Yeah, I think it's one of the ones where I'd like it not to be a penalty, but I think based off kind of some of the stuff we've seen in Scotland, I think even they were saying on the Sky Sports kind of referee panel with Dermot Gallagher, which isn't almost always the most popular man within Scotland, but I think they were saying that the threshold for handball in Scotland's one of the lowest. And that's maybe why these kind of things get given. But yeah, it was harsh, but Simon Murray stepped up well and sent Walton the wrong way. Walton was it? It was Walton in goal,
Yeah, it
wasn't it?
was Walton. Yeah, and Simon Murray, you know, obviously played for both sides. Well, both both ends of the road, and you know, he didn't hesitate to celebrate and really show that he was happy to be where he was. It was a really big celebration. Although in the end, Dundee would get the sorry. Oh, Mama, sorry guys. Dundee United to get the last laugh. I thought that was terrible for me. There, nobody come after me. Um, we get on people like all the time, like non-Scottish people calling them Dundee, and I've just done it. But yeah, Dundee United got the last laugh in the end. I thought there was a couple of standouts for me today. I thought Palmer Holding had an all right game, apart from obviously the unfortunate flick on. Ryan Strain, I thought was excellent. Involved with everything, everywhere, and he's been a real success. Emerging success. We've talked about Lucas Stevenson and Will Ferry, and but now I think the men of the moment for Dundee is the likes of Ryan Strain and Sam Dalby, um, who's the top scorer in the Premiership, and Dundee United will be hoping to get you know, get him on a permanent from Wrexham. But yeah, Sevilla,
Yeah, something like that.
Sevilla
Yeah,
scored the equaliser quickly. Palmer Holding, like I said, unfortunate with the flick on, but Murray loses him at the back post. A bit of karma there, maybe for Simon Murray, and Sevilla puts it away. I think Trevor Carson made a couple of really good saves. One with the feet, but Sam Dalby, the man of the moment, scored the late winner for Dundee United. A really nice finish from him in the end. And one of the things you love to see in football, he just jumps into the crowd and you can see what it meant to the support.
yeah. The Lambs, as they're called. Yeah, brilliant for Dundee United. Their first win at Den since 2019. So yeah, a big win for them. Bragging rights, league wise bragging rights. And everything's going really well for
Yeah,
Jim
they
Goodwin.
jumped ahead of the new firm.
Yeah, they jumped ahead of the new firm as well. Yeah, And obviously Dundee are kind of but Dundee are in a difficult spell, I think. Let me
If they're not careful, they'll start creeping towards that relegation battle, which none of us would have really predicted. I don't think any of us thought they'd be up, well in the top six. Kind of thought they'd be in and out, but they are starting to fall down quite a bit.
Yeah, definitely. That's their fourth game they've lost in the last five. That's them 5 points outside the top six now. So it's not looking good for Tony Docherty and the fans. I love my expected goals. I stumbled across a Scottish Premiership expected goals table and expected points, and it had Dundee rock bottom.
Oh wow!
So maybe shows that Tony Docherty's kind of
Style.
gung ho style of football isn't the most sustainable.
Yeah.
But yeah, Dundee United will be loving that one. Sam Dalby, we keep going on about him because he keeps scoring. He's 10 for the season, and I think they'll be very lucky to get him on a permanent off
Well,
Wrexham.
Wrexham do have. I think I mentioned they have a lot of striker
Yeah,
options.
yeah,
I missed out one the last time as well. So they've got Paul Mullen, Ollie Palmer, they've got Jack Marriott, and they've got Stephen Fletcher.
yeah,
So, you know, four really decent options. I think Jack Marriott's been the standout for them in those attacking areas. There's a midfielder for them who is a top scorer, but which maybe would look at them bringing back Dolby because their strikers maybe haven't been firing on all fronts, but it would be difficult for Sam Dolby. So maybe that is something that Wrexham would be open to, and I'm sure the Dundee United fans and Jim Goodwin would love to have him back,
yeah, yeah,
back
definitely.
at Tannadice.
Yeah, definitely. I think they would love it. He's obviously been a great addition, and they probably not where they are. They probably wouldn't be where they are in the league now without his goals and without him in general. I think I don't know if I heard this or I've seen this or I'm just making it up. So don't get excited, Dundee United fans. But I think Wrexham are looking to kind of offload him, but it's whether there'll be other suitors that are kind of able to offer him more money down south.
Or would be able to offer Wrexham more money.
Be able to offer Wrexham more money. Yeah, you're right.
Those cutthroat Hollywood men.
Yeah, um, but yeah, Dundee United have got a really good team all round. We've spoke about their wide men, Ferry. Um, who else have they got? What is his name escaping me? Stevenson. And then they've obviously got Kevin Holt, who obviously takes the penalties. Popped up with the assist today for the winning goal. Nada Biega was in the attacking build up as well. I thought he was very. I watched bits of the game. And I thought he was
He's one
very
as well
impressive.
that has been an excellent, like a
Yeah,
lot. All of the obviously it was the North Macedonian boys at the start of the season. I feel more of these guys are coming in. Adabayega's been excellent for me. He's on loan from Villa, I believe. Uh,
yeah, it's something like that. I'll double check. But I think it's something like that. Norwich, I think it is.
right, okay. I don't know where I
Um,
got Villa from. Uh,
um, Same kind of area, I suppose, in England. Um,
yeah,
but um, but yeah, Dundee United have got a really good squad, really good team, and a good manager, and that's why they're sitting third. And they're a difficult team to beat. Celtic and Rangers have both found that out this season. Both been held to draws. Yeah, they'll be a difficult team to knock off that third place mantle. But yeah, a really good win for Dundee United.
yeah, excellent. And that will wrap up really great day for in Scottish football for goals and the quality of games. VAR drama as usual. You know, it's obviously I enjoyed it because obviously Rangers won. But see, just watching sports scene, I think that's the most I've enjoyed it around the fixtures in a while. Just the Dundee Derby was brilliant. Obviously, Akil Wright's excellent goal. VAR drama, Alex Gogic for some reason just smashing into people. But yeah, it was a great day. Thank you to everyone for watching and listening to episode 30 of the Dugout. Joe, check out. Go check out the Twitter at the Dugout 2024. Thank you and goodbye.